So I just reached this very important milestone. When I left the Army in 1994, I weighed 160 pounds. At that point, they said I was 2 pounds overweight and made me do a tape test in order to pass my last physical. After leaving and getting a sit on my ass job, I started gaining weight at a rate of about 1 pound a month for 5 years straight. For those of you that are bad at math, that's 60 pounds. By 1999, I chunked up to 220, and I stayed there for maybe about 10 years or more. I did not see a doctor for many years after I left the service. Now, my wife and kids had a family doctor and had regular checkups, but I refused to go. In 2009, when my mom was in the hospital having her heart valve replaced, me, Joey, and Aunt Margie all went downstairs to the hospital to donate blood, and that's when I found out I had high blood pressure. I probably had it for years and years. I got put on blood pressure meds, but I still didn't change my ways. I figured it was being controlled by medication, so everything was good, right? Well, about 5 years after that, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My A1C was above 10. Now, that did spur me on to make some changes. I started watching what I ate. I joined the gym at work. I got under 200 pounds for the first time in 10 years and brought my A1C down to the 8s. My doctor felt confident that I was going the right direction and didn't put me on any meds for it. But I lost motivation when I plateaued and stopped losing weight, so I let that go. My weight stayed around 200 for quite some time after that. My A1C was always in the 8s. It was never improving, but always close to being acceptable. If you don't know, it needs to be less than 7. So I wasn't way high, but I was above what I needed to be. A few years later, while talking about weight loss at work, a friend of mine, though I work with, made a wager with me that he claimed he could lose more weight swimming than I could dieting. I used the 5.2 diet, which is a form of intermittent fasting, and I got down to about 180 pounds, so I lost another 20 there. My friend gave up swimming after only a couple of weeks, but I still, stuck to it to prove my point. However, it was hard staying on that diet. That is a very rough diet to stay on for a while, but afterwards I did still stay between 180 and 185. Then I got a new doctor. He takes diabetes way more seriously than my previous doctor, and he was insistent that I go on medication to bring my A1C down. He said anybody under his care that's A1C of 7 or higher will have to be on medication to bring the glucose down, period. So under his direction and taking meds, I was chipping away at my numbers, and I did get it down to 7.1. But that's still not good enough. It has to be under 7, which means 6.9 or less. A little over a year ago, he suggested that I try a CGM. You can see I'm wearing one now. Even though I did balk at first, I think it's probably the best thing I've ever done in regards to type 2 diabetes. I could see in real time exactly what my numbers were. I could know just what I had consumed that had made those numbers go up. I could see what made the numbers go down. Right away, I realized I had to give up soda, no more Coke, no more Dr. Pepper. Each time, if I went to a fast food restaurant and had a Coke and then a refill, I could see that it was going to add 80 to 100 points to my overall amount of glucose. So that was huge. I also learned in those first few weeks that I had to give up Gatorade, I had to give up orange juice, I had to give up cereal. And I noticed French fries would always make my numbers spike. So I reduced to where I would either get a child-sized fry or get a small or perhaps a medium, and I would share it with Sherry. And Now, I've been on night shift for 24 years, I think, and 25 years, and it's evolved to the point where my strange work schedule has me eating 4 times a day instead of 3. When I get up for work at 11 p.m., I have a work lunch around 1 a.m., and then I have breakfast around 6 a.m. Then I sleep for a while after work, and then when I get up around 11 a.m., I have a regular lunch at noon, and then I have dinner at 5 or 6. So I'm eating 4 times a day. So the only way I could manage that would be if I reduce the size of those meals. I have to rein in some of those calories and carbs. And what I did was I switched my lunchtime lunch to a salad. And I would make a big salad, put some jalapenos, black olives, onions, some Fritos, and top it off with a half a can of beans, because you need something of substance or else the salad's never going to hold you over till your next meal. Doing all this made a big difference in my midday sugar spike. If you're trying to lose weight, the beans and greens things helps keep things moving, if you know what I mean. And for my work lunch, instead of raiding the fridge for leftovers, I found a couple of options that didn't have too much carbs in it, but still would be enough to hold me over. I can make a little fish taco with a scoop of coleslaw and a handful of hot fries, or a fried chicken patty sandwich with a handful of Bugles. I know there's other options that would have even less carbs, but my goal here is to reduce carbs, not to go full keto. For my breakfast, instead of waffles or oatmeal or something like that, I'll have a pastrami egg and cheese sandwich, or cheese omelet with sausage and toast, or maybe a bacon, egg, and cheese taco. It's still carbs, but it's fewer than what I used to eat. Now, after giving up all those things and learning how to eat differently, I started to lose weight at a rate of about 1 pound a month. I lost over 20 pounds in 2025. So, and that helped me reach the milestone to be in the same weight I was 32 years ago. Another benefit I noticed from changing my eating habits was that indigestion went away. Where I used to eat Tums like candy, now I can go weeks or months without ever needing one. I'm also out of the obese column, and even though I'm still in the overweight range, I'm very close to being inside the healthy category. My new goal now is not to lose any more weight, although I'm sure a few more pounds will probably still come off in the future. My goal now is to reduce the medications that I'm on. Usually when you go on a medication, that's it. You're going to be on it for the rest of your life. But the last checkup, I asked my doctor to review my blood pressure meds, since I've been on them for 19 years. And in that time, I have lost at least 40 pounds. And he checked it out and said yes. And he changed it up, and he changed my blood pressure meds and basically cut them in half. Hopefully at my next visit, I'll be able to reduce my glucose meds. Any medication I can end or reduce means that there's fewer side effects I have to deal with. My doctor said other patients have told him that they can't change their eating habits because they have cravings. And I understand that. I still have cravings for something sweet, which if I want a small piece of candy or a small cookie, I'll have that, but I don't want to eat a lot that's going to make my blood sugar go up. But he said if you stick with it, what's going to happen is your body is going to adjust and get used to it, and then your body is going to crave the new thing. And I have noticed that since I switched out my lunch meal with a salad. I've been doing that for probably 7 or 8 months. Now when lunchtime starts to come, that's all I can think about is my salad, the crispy lettuce, the hot beans, the crunchy Fritos, so I believe that's true. And couple of the good things I could say from after losing weight is I went down a pant size, I went down a shirt size, I feel better. And if you're trying to lose weight, then I hope this helps you out some.